Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Bizarro vs. Batzaro 2-pack. I pre-ordered this thing with the bundle at the McFarlane toy store, and it finally arrived today. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, really not much going on. DC Multiverse, Bizarro, and Batzaro. Here they are in the package. Looks like they both have a total of 4 hands, and then Batzaro has his necklace. They also have a display stand, collector's card, and then a large base for the two figures. One side of the package, Bizarro and Batzaro. Other side says the same thing. At the bottom, there's the barcode, if that helps anybody. And at the back side, we have both of them sort of posed up. Bizarro upside down, Batzaro breaking out of his chains. So with no further ado, let's open them up. Alright, now that we got these figures out of the package, here they are with all their accessories laid out. Bizarro here comes with a total of 4 hands, a collector's card, and then his signature medallion. Batzaro here comes with a total of 4 hands and a collector's card, and then they have this diorama base they share. In this video, we're going to take a look at each of the figures. We'll check out their accessories, height and articulation, and we'll compare them with a bunch of other relevant action figures. Let's go ahead and start off with Batzaro himself. Before we take a look at Batzaro, let's check out the accessories they sort of share. So we have this display base here. The majority of the McFarlane 2-packs come with a display base, and that's pretty cool. These figures don't have the traditional display stands, which surprises me, but not a big deal as I've got about 1 million of those things. Now this display base is reuse from the Superman vs. Devastator 2-pack, and it's pretty cool. As you can see, it's got some, I don't know, sort of stone formations. You can see an impact here where someone has just hit the ground. It's got a couple different pegs for the peg holes on their feet. Detailing's pretty good. Can be a nice background piece. It is fairly hollow on the inside. Like I said before, it's the exact same piece that came with the Superman vs. Devastator 2-pack. And it's a nice piece, but a little bit disappointing as they really haven't done a lot of reuse on these diorama bases. I guess it begins now. Here are their collector's cards. You can see Bizarro on the left, and he's upside down as usual. And then Batzaro on the right, looks like he's flexing. Bizarro's upside down because he's pretty much the opposite of Superman. Everything he says and does is completely ass backwards. And here's the back side of the 2 collector's cards. So here's Batzaro. He comes with 2 alternate hands, totaling 4 interchangeable hands, and then his medallion. So Batzaro was originally created when Superman encountered a duplicate ray and it made sort of an opposite version of himself. He's also been in a sort of alien that Mr. Kizzlepits brought for the Batzaro world. He's also been a clone created by Lex Luthor. It just depends on which continuity. This version, I believe, is pre-New 52, so he's not a clone. He's just from the Batzaro world. One of his origins, the Joker was with Mr. Kizzlepits, and he thought it would be kind of cool to make an opposite Superman, so it was the Joker's idea, and Mr. Kizzlepits, and I don't know how to say that properly, just sort of snapped his fingers and created Batzaro. Batzaro here is the opposite of Superman in every way, shape, or form. Sometimes he'll fly upside down or backwards. The logo on his chest is completely reverse of Superman's. If he says, "Me, I'm going to kill you," that means "I will save you." That is how he talks. He's a really sort of dumb character with no intellect. And he's typically evil, but I don't think he's exactly evil per se. He's just an opposite of Superman, and that's the way he is. He's from a planet in the Batzaro world where it is a crime to do anything right. The planet is cube-shaped, the opposite of the Earth. And he has this Batzaro #1 medallion on his chest to differentiate him from all the other Bizarros on his world. This particular version of Bizarro and Batzaro look very similar to the way they were drawn in the Superman Batman comics. I believe it's pre-New 52, so he's not a clone. He's just simply the opposite Batzaro from another dimension. So let's take a look at him. Start with his face here. Big, giant, goofy smile. He has that gray skin, almost like a zombie. That's just how they look from that world, I guess. Hair, it looks decent. Giant-ass eyebrows. His face is just ridiculous looking. And that, like I said, is part of his charm. You can see the Superman logo completely backwards. His coloring is a little bit darker than a traditional Superman. It's done on the Dark Knight Returns big, giant, bulky body. cape going to one side, and it does have the Superman logo on the back, and it is backwards. Very well done. He's got the red trunks, blue outfit, red boots, double jointed knees, single jointed elbow. Overall, pretty cool to add him to the rogues gallery of the Superman, and it's definitely different than the Batzaro they made before. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. Look at those teeth, my god, the face is just so goofy, and they really just nailed it. That is exactly how he was drawn in the sort of pre-New 52 modern comics. I think it looks good, very exaggerated, and that is the point. Well done, McFarlane. And here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories, and let's start off with his hands. He has a total of 4 of them, 2 right hands and 2 left hands. Here's Batzaro with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And here he is with his second pair of hands. This is a pair of grabbing, possibly choking or throwing hands. Now for his medallion, which appears to be cut out of stone. It's got a sort of rope necklace. Then it says Batzaro #1. Like I said before, he wears that to differentiate himself from the other Bizarros on his home world. Here's Batzaro wearing that medallion. Proudly, I might add. So this Batzaro figure is using the Superman Dark Knight Returns body, the big, swole, buff one. Now there are a lot of shared parts and a couple of different parts, so let's take a look. So obviously their heads are completely different. This guy's ugly, and I'd say Superman is actually uglier than Batzaro, although Batzaro looks quite goofy. The Superman logo is in the same sort of slot, but completely re-sculpted on this guy, and I appreciate that. Very well done. As we go further down, absolutely everything else is the same, besides the obvious paint differences. Backside here, I love the backwards logo on the back of the cape. Didn't even include that in this guy, although I'm not 100% sure if it's like that in the Dark Knight Returns or not. Still, it's a decent use for the body. It works. Now they've actually used this body 4 different times. Dark Knight Returns Superman, the new Batzaro, and then the Death and Return of Superman, both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of the Collector's Edition. Here he is, next to McFarlane's previous Batzaro figure. I believe this one is based off the New 52 and is a clone of Superman. He's not really a villain, more of an anti-hero in the comics. It is actually cool to have 2 different versions of Batzaro from 2 different universes, so they could potentially interact. Then, next to a Superman, Batman, DC Direct Batzaro, and now, next to a Mattel DC Multiverse Bizarro. This was actually a Walgreens exclusive. Here are all the different Batzaro figures that I have. DC Direct, McFarlane, and Mattel. I do regret not getting the DC Universe Classics one back in the day. He used to be so cheap on the aftermarket, but not anymore. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his accessories, now for his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing at about 7.3 inches tall, which can translate to 18.5 centimeters. And now for his articulation. Starting with his head, of course, you can rotate from side to side. He can look up a very good amount, down pretty good as well. That'll really help you get him in some flight poses, although I guess it'd be more like this. He can tilt his head from one side to the other. Look at that giant Jay Leto-sized chin, my word. Shoulders and a ball joint goes out a little bit more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all the good stuff. He's got a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest, increasing the range of motion and covering the large gap that would be there. There's no bicep cut here. Single jointed elbow goes in 90 degrees, and that has rotation. That's where the bicep cut is sort of offset. His wrist can rotate, and it is going to be hinged as well. In his torso, he's got a ball joint. Rotate around, forward and back. Another one in his waist. Rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, pretty good range of motion in the torso area. I'd say you get more of the torso than the waist on this guy. Legs, complete does the splits. McFarlane style hip joints. Rotations, decent on him. Legs go forward about that much. Back not much. Double jointed knees. And then his ankle. Forward and back. Rotate. Tilt and rock. And of course, to articulation. Now to look at Batzaro. Batzaro here is pretty much the same thing as Batzaro. He's the opposite of Batman. You can see the bat symbols upside down. Even the pouches on his utility belt are upside down and stuck open due to gravity. This one is based off the Dark Knight Returns Batman body. He's appeared quite a bit less than Bizarro, and I believe he was also made from Joker and Mr. Kizzlepits, sort of joking around. So let's take a look. Starting with his face here. Now the face looks fantastic. It looks sort of alien-esque. I don't know, it's because of the missing eyes and the smooth head. The ears are going back. He also looks similar to the art from the Batman, Superman comics. Now the biggest problem is his chest. The upside-down bat symbol is very appropriate, but you can see where they cut out the Dark Knight Returns bat symbol and tried to fill it in, and they did such a shitty job. I don't even think that's lazy, because they did address it, but they just did a horrible job filling that in. You can totally see where the old bat symbol was, and that sucks. I'm telling you, all the resources McFarlane Toys, and you're telling me they couldn't smooth that out and do a better job? Come on, or at least put his bat symbol maybe a little taller, or a little bigger, so it'd cover all that up. Sigh. Beyond that, this is about the perfect base body for Batzaro. It's very, very well done. Excellent proportions, excellent look at the figure. The head is fantastic, but I'm just really having a hard time getting past this. Single jointed elbow, double jointed knees. You can see the utility belt is upside down and all the pouches are just open due to gravity. That is a very, very nice touch. Not much going on with the cape there. More pouches on the back. As a whole, I like it, but that definitely bothers the hell out of me. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. I think it's very well done. I really get Xenomorph vibes from this guy. Like I said, it's probably just the black sort of smooth head, the lack of eyes, etc. But it looks weird, it looks creepy, and I like it. And then here's Batman with all of his removable parts detached. Now for his hands. He has a total of 4 of them, 2 left and 2 right. Here's Batzaro with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And then, with his second pair of hands, this is a pair of gripping hands. So this Batzaro is done on the Dark Knight Returns Batman body. Big, bulky bruiser body. So let's check out the differences and the reuse. Once again, obviously their heads are completely different. Now the torso is the same, but they just literally cut this thing out and put a different bat symbol on top of it, and did such a terrible job filling it in. The belt is completely different. I love the fact the belt is upside down, the pouches are open. Everything else is 100% the same. Yes, the paint job is different. Darker gray here, lighter gray here. But everything else, even down to the cape, is 100% identical. And that's just fine. It is an evil version of Batman. And they did utilize this Dark Knight Returns body now 4 different times. We have the Jokerized version, the Batzaro version, the traditional original version, and then the unpainted artist-proof Platinum Chase version. I do expect in the future to get a blue and gray version of him. Time will tell. Here's this McFarlane Batzaro next to the DC Direct Batzaro based off the Superman Batman comics. I think they're based off the same look. And here he is next to the Mattel DC Universe Classics Batzaro. This is a Matty Collector exclusive in their signature collection. And here are all 3 versions of Batzaro. For an obscure character, he's gotten a lot of love at this point. DC Direct, McFarlane, and Mattel. And they all have the upside down bat symbol, and they all have the upside down belt with the pouches open. Well done. And now for his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing right at 7 inches tall, which can translate to just under 18 centimeters. And if you go to the top of the ears, 7.1, maybe 7.2 inches tall. And now for his articulation. Starting with his head, he can rotate side to side. He can look up, not too much, down, about that far. Not bad. Tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders, ball joint goes out more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. Got the butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest. Increase the range of motion, although mine's not really budging much. And covering up the large gap that would be there. No bicep cut. Single jointed elbow with a 90-degree bend. And has rotation there to offset the lack of bicep cut. His wrist can rotate, and it is hinged as well. Although I'm having trouble getting mine to go. There it is. His torso, he's got a ball joint. Rotate around, forward and back just a tiny bit. Another one is waist. Rotate around, forward and back. Neither one gets a ton of range of motion there. Between the two, still rather limited. Legs almost complete as the splits, goes out about this far, McFarlane style hip joints. Now, there is quite a bit of rotation at the top, and he also has a thigh cut there, which is very unusual for a McFarlane figure, especially one that has plenty of rotation in the hips. Double jointed knees below that, and then his ankle, forward and back, rotate, tilt, and rock, and of course, toe articulation. Here's the Joker. He's in his lair. He's thinking to himself, I wish somebody would make an evil version of this damn Boy Scout. And then Mr. Kizzlepits snaps his fingers, bam, makes it happen. Here's Batzaro and Batzaro hanging out in the Batcave. And then here's Superman and Batman looking at their counterparts in confusion. Now let's check them out. Next to some other action figures. Starting off with some other McFarlane, Batman and Superman figures. Here they are, next to some older McFarlane, Superman and Batman figures. And here, next to some newer McFarlane, Superman and Batman figures. Now let's check them out. Next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here they are, next to the DC Classics Smiling Superman and the Nightfall Nightwing. Here's Batzaro and Batzaro, next to the Entertainment Earth Gold Label exclusive Blacklight Mr. Freeze and Zernar Batman. And here they are, next to some McFarlane Toy Store exclusive Gold Label figures. We have the line art sketch version of Black Manta and Hazmat Suit Batman. Then the Deadly Duo Joker and the Patina variant of Merciless. Then, next to both the regular and the Platinum Chase variant of Steel from Reign of the Supermen. And now, next to the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive Black and White accent Aquaman, Red Hood, and Joker. Here they are, next to the Amazon exclusive Lobo. This is the one with the deluxe Space Hog set. And here they are, next to some recent Target exclusive Jokerized stuff. Then, with some more recent Target exclusive figures, we have Animal Man, Red Tornado, Wave Rider, and Midnighter. And now, with some recent Walmart exclusive Gold Label figures, we have Black Lightning, Owlman, then the Vampire, Damian Wayne, and Hal Jordan. Here they are, next to both the regular and the Platinum Chase variant of the McFarlane Collector's Edition Wonder Woman. And here they are, next to the McFarlane Collector's Edition Wave 3, both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of Captain Carrot, Superman, and Batman as Green Lantern. Then, next to the Batman and Robin movie wave, Collect-A-Build and Arnold Schwarzenegger Mr. Freeze. And now, next to the Target exclusive Flashpoint wave, Collect-A-Build Cyborg. Then, next to the Injustice 2 Superman and both versions of Brainiac. And finally, next to the Dark Knights of Steel Batman and both versions of the Jim Gordon Batman. Now check them out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how they fit in both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix them with. Since they're McFarlane toys, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller, and I'm going to include as many Superman and Batman figures as I can during these comparisons. Since we already checked them out, next to some other McFarlane, Superman and Batman figures, here they are next to some more McFarlane toys. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane toys, all 7-inch scale, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some DST or Diamond Select toys. Here they are, next to a Shower Poof. And here they are, next to some DC Direct and NECA Superman and Batman figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. Next, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures and some SH Figure Arts action figures. So overall, this is a pretty cool action figure set. I think this Bizarro is much better than the previous version. I never liked the way the New 52 one looked, and this one looks like the traditional Bizarro from another dimension. He's on that really big body, and he didn't really have to be, but it works. I love the Superman singlets backwards. I love the fact that it's on the back of his cape. I like his coloring, and his face is so exaggerated. It is just perfect. And then Batzaro. The only thing short of making this figure perfect is the fact that they did that horrible job on the bat symbol on his chest. Just filled in the old one, and didn't even fill it in very well. You can totally see the line, and it looks hideous. Beyond that, it would have been a perfect Batzaro. If I were to rate these figures, I'm going to give Bizarro a 7.5 and Batzaro a 7. It's a really nice set, and I'm very happy to add them to the collection. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.